Otherwise, we're rolling, y'all.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
We rolling.
Rolling.
They see me rolling.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Top of the evening to you. This is Don the Blaptist, 1/3 of the Watch Me Develop podcast, here with the other 2/3
Oh, yeah, brother.
on another episode, man. We in the building. First of all, to my right, let me introduce the man who needs no introduction, the mastermind behind Butcher Media Design.
You know it.
Multimedia extraordinaire.
Oh, yeah.
Husband of one, father of two.
Oh, yeah.
My brother from another mother, a.k.a. brother cousin, John Butcher Jr.
What's happening, baby? Feeling good? You know what I'm saying? Trying to dodge all these cooties. You sound a little snuffleupagus over there,
Bruh.
cousin.
Under the weather this morning. But, hey, I'm fighting it. You know what I'm saying? No excuse November, man. I'm making it do what it do. To the left of me, I have Mr. Ergo Dog himself, the inventor extraordinaire,
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Patent, official like a referee's whistle, Stephen Joshua Bonds.
My bro, you're too kind. You're too kind. I'm happy to be back. We got a lot to catch up on because shoot, last episode we had our guest Jay Rich on, and shoot, we didn't really get into the nitty gritty of like what's been up since the time before. So I feel like we probably got a lot to talk about. But I'm excited to be here with the brethren.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, brother. Oh, yes. We are excited to be here. As you can see, I'm messing with my new toy, the Apple Watch.
Oh, you got it to work?
I got it to work,
What
man.
was it?
I think I had... I had to update my SIM card in my phone, and then it brought on a whole lot of other updates or whatever. And so once I did that, I was able to finally link it to the watch. So I don't know.
On iOS 8.
Yeah, whatever. It don't matter, man. I'm not into the gadgets like that.
Have you started closing your rings yet, or is that tomorrow?
I literally just got this thing working probably like within the last couple hours.
Oh, okay, got you. So tomorrow, closing the rings.
Bare minimum 1,000.
Whatever that means.
Right.
I don't
Bare
know
minimum
what that
1,000
means.
calories. That's what I expect from you.
Oh, I was already ahead of you. I already like put in like 1,200 calories. So
I have not worked out today. I think
So-
I'm at about 750. Non-workout day.
Just run home.
750.
Just run home.
You'll be good.
Leg workout will be caught up. Anyways, how y'all doing? What's new?
What's new?
Man, shoot, a lot's been new in the last 48 for me. So anyone who was on Don the Blaptist IG Live yesterday, then you made it to today, 6 p.m. or whatever day you ended up watching this. John, you had just headed out the room. I had told the folks that we had actually were in the process of putting in an offer on a home. Let me tell y'all how this happened. So what had happened was, right? I'm gonna make this real quick and simple and get to what I learned at the end of this whole situation. The homie T-Web sent me a text message at 2:30 in the morning. You know he works in the morning.
Right.
And he was like, hey, is this your neighbor's house? Right? And I looked at it. It was on my block, right? And it was the same house. It's the same layout as same setup as my house, right?
What?
But on the market for $400,000, right?
What?
Yes, bruh, for $400,000. Yeah, and our house right now is on Zillow listed at $725.
Oh, it got to be 7.5.
Right. So I was like, nah, I don't know whose house that was, because I really didn't. Our 30 years of living on that block, not once have I ever seen anyone walk in or come out of that house. ever, right? You feel me? It's just like a house that we just go by and forgot about, but it's been there the whole time. So anyways, man, you know, I send it off to my mom, send it off to my father-in-law, and there was a catch about the situation was it was taking cash offers only, right? So $400K cash offers only. Hit my mom's, and she was like, yo, we might have to get that. How much you got? You know, do you have anything saved that maybe we'll pull the equity from the house? And so yeah, man, we hit Tonda Herndon. Shout out to Tonda, bruh. She be making things work on the lender side, and bro, just the way that the way it popped up on our radar that night was just crazy, spur of the moment. And then it was hard to even get in contact with the realtor to get inside the house. Yeah. You feel me? Because we have realtors that we know, but no one could get in. So anyways, we were riding our bikes down the street, and Nadia ended up, it was people outside the house all day. And she ended up asking, like, excuse me, how can we get inside of this? And the realtor was like, oh, just take our number down and you can come by in like 30 minutes. This particular realtor ended up knowing Ruben and Rio, right? Which was crazy.
What?
Yes, bro. And has been to, when he asked me what church I went to, and I told him the building. He was like, oh yeah, I've been there before. I thought y'all looked familiar. Yeah, I grew up with Ruben, and it was crazy. So like just that type of stuff was happening, and it seemed like it was going good. Moms pulled together. Austin is doing phenomenal at his job right now. He was like, look, bro, put me on the title. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be able to help you make this work. It's like, I ain't making no payments, but I can help you out as far as like just getting in the door. Long story short, when we prayed about it, the prayer was, God, if it's for us, we know that you can slow down and pause other situations to make a way for us.
Yeah.
Or if it's not for us, please slam the door shut. Slam the door shut, because it was going to be a stretch. The one thing that we had going for us is that we have so many family members that carpenters, electricians, you know what I'm saying, within the family that would have been able to get in there and get it done, and it was all surface level work. It was like a blast in the past. There was no flat screen. It was all big box TVs, wooden furniture, old cars in the garage. Like, it was a foreclosure, you feel me? And it was just like, we can get in there and clean this up, lickety split. But at the same time, the weight that I felt like was coming was gonna come along with getting that house, because the interest rate was about to be ridiculously high, was gonna be a lot on me at a time that I'm literally dedicating more time and attention to getting the Ergo Dog off the ground. You know, and just 3 weeks ago, after Pastor Raquel's message about like just not finding your identity in what you do, I made the switch to no longer cut hair on Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays anymore. I'm only cutting hair on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the fact that this popped up around that same time, and this would have made me have to work more, I was like, okay, like I'll sacrifice, but at the same time, like what will I be sacrificing? You know what I mean? Like Ergo's not making me money yet. I know this could be a distraction. God, just if it's not for us, close the door, whatever. He closed the door, so I took it as it's not for us. There was 12-hour offers that went on the house immediately. You feel me? We were going through the process of getting the lenders, and we were too slow on it. But what it reminded me, as I was talking to my cousin today, he was like, man, I think that was a blessing in disguise. You know, I know how much you've invested in Ergo. I know the direction that you're going with Ergo right now. He was like, everything that's good and God, you feel me? Everything that glitters ain't gold, you know? Right. And that's the lesson that I learned from it, because, you know, you sit back and you look at it, knowing the housing market, knowing how much houses have gone for. And even though it looked like it could have been a good thing, feel me? I felt like it definitely could have pulled me away from what I'm trying to focus on right now. So, super grateful that we didn't get into it, and I look forward to meeting our neighbors soon. Shoot.
Dope, man.
Yep. So that's that. What about y'all?
What about you, California dad?
Bro, shut up. Y'all stay having jokes, California dad.
That's one of the AKAs, bro. We didn't even get you proper, bro.
It's not, bro. I'm not.
It's not California
it's
dad.
Not
That's
Uriah
just funny.
Faber. It's California kids.
Is that what?
Not California? No. West Coast. Dad. Stop. Get out of here.
You right. Put some respect on it.
That was the great value version I just said.
Yeah.
He said, why you say California dad?
California dad.
My bad. West
California
Coast dad.
dad.
D Blap, the West Coast dad. What's happening?
Man, so football season is over, man. It came and went like that. So Big Co is, officially bored out of his mind. But steady getting, an influx of interest from different universities and stuff like that. So I think since the last time we were here, I think he got maybe 2 more offers since the last time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, God is good. He didn't have the season that he wanted, but we kind of went into it with our eyes wide open, knowing like what it was. He's going in to be a part of a quote unquote program that pretty much has been non-existent. It's like, there isn't really a program. So, but he went in, with good spirits and was just hoping to be able to just make an impact. I think for him, his thing was he wanted to make an impact, I guess you could say, like, immediately as far as, like, with his teammates and with his team. And that proved to be a bigger task than what he had, what he expected, because there's a lot of parts that go to that. You know what I'm saying? He can't do everything by himself, even though he assumes a lot of responsibility, even to the point where responsibility that's not his, he tries to assume. Mm-hmm. And so that's been a big thing. And so when we went into it, from last year and last season, we had the whole conversation of like, look, man, what is the ultimate goal? What do you want? And at that time, his thing was like, I want to be able to go D1. I want to get D1 offers. Well, that's happened, right? He wanted to be able to basically kind of spark a flame, spark some hope, which he did, because like last year he was the only one in our school district that made all league. Mm-hmm. And then it went to summer where he's getting all these offers. He's getting offer after offer, goes into this season, and he's like dominating, doing his thing defensively, and to the point where it's funny, Jonathan last week, Brother Jay, hits me up on Sunday, and he says, hey, man, I meant to get this to you on Thursday, but he shoots me a little snippet of a video from one of the school board meetings where they have like a segment of the meeting that the students kind of give their report of what's going on at their level. Mm-hmm. And they did like a quick 30-second blurb about Jericho and how basically him being a student athlete and getting all these offers and everything has brought like a lot of hope to a lot of other student athletes that are in the school district. And I'm like, dude, that's huge. Like, I know it's disappointing that the person to the left of you and the person to the right of you may not necessarily be getting with the program or maybe getting on the same page as you, but you got to look at the impact that you've had that goes far beyond what it is that you can see. Like, he had no idea that there's kids all across the district and even outside of the district. Because, dude, what's crazy about it is every time he gets an offer and he posts it on IG, kids from all over the place,
right?
You know what I'm saying? His rivals, all these different kids come to congratulate him, man, because they're like, dude, they're like hoping that the opportunity is in their neighborhood and it's going to come to their door next.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing that we wanted to do, is like, man, we want you to build a legacy. It ain't about like necessarily playing for a winning team.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, that's not the only way that you can win.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to chime in on the back of that. I forgot to even tell you. We were recently, Nadia's grandfather came in from Oregon. He drives, he don't fly, so it's always a big deal. Like, we need to make sure we catch him and make this trip worth it, So we went out and had dinner in Petaluma, which is where a lot of her family lives at. And one of her cousins, Lucas, who's a senior, I forget at which high school, but he plays football, was there. And his mom was asking us if we knew, like, any coaches or anything like that. She was asking, and I don't remember exactly what the question was. But we were like, no, and Jericho's name came up. And she was like, and Lucas, the senior, he was like, You know Jericho Johnson?
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Bruh, legit. I kid you
Crazy.
not. Nadia was there. You know Jericho Johnson? I was like, yeah, that's the homie. Like, you know Jericho Johnson? He was like, yeah, bro. Like, everybody knows Jericho Johnson. This is in Petaluma, bro. This is in Petaluma.
So here's what's crazy. My coworkers, because sometimes my coworkers are like tend to be like even more excited following this stuff. Because I'll come back every week after the weekend. I'm giving them an update on how the last game went and so on and so forth. And they'll look stuff up. And so it would just so happen to be the other day, one of my coworkers he looked up Jericho's information on I think it was 24/7. Shout out to Brandon Huffman. 24/7 is a recruiting site for like all the football players and stuff, and he was like ranked like I want to say like 37 in the state, and I was like, this is crazy. This is like getting like for real.
He got a number.
You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
just the thing, man. Is like I tried to explain to him, like, dude, just if you keep the right heart, you know what I'm saying? Because all you got to do is just be yourself, be who it is that God created you to be, and do what it is. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. He's whatever is for you is gonna be for you, and can't nobody take it from you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's been a great ride, despite the fact of technically, like, if you look at it for face value, like, yeah, they finished what I want to say 2-8 this season, or 3-7 this season.
Yeah, 3-7.
And
Or no,
was it 2-8 or 3-7?
might have been 3-7.
I think it was 3-7. And you look at that, that's obviously a losing record, but there were so many different wins. You know what I'm saying? Even for their QB had some decent numbers, despite the fact that
He
with
led
their
in
record,
total yards from scrimmage, dude, at Armio.
crazy.
Total yards from scrimmage.
That's crazy.
Like over other teams that pass
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
run better.
Yeah.
He had total yards from scrimmage as a sophomore
Dang. It's that,
over juniors and seniors.
What does that mean from scrimmage? I'm not a big football guy.
So
Break it down
every
for us.
yard that proceeds from where the ball is placed from the get-go, right? So
Mm-hmm.
every yard that he's gotten, he's had more yards than any other offensive players totally. So that's running, that's passing put together.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
As a sophomore,
Yeah, he going crazy.
I'm a Willie fan. I'm gonna say it. Who's been balling?
Yeah.
Willie Jr. Well, no, I'm sorry, Willie the
third.
third. W3, Dub 3. Yeah, shout out to the Nixon family, June Nixon.
That's dope.
Coaching, helping out, man. But
Nope, 4-6.
4-6. Okay, so 4-6.
4-6.
Yeah, man. I mean, ultimately, like, the thing is that their numbers did improve from last season. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I had to get them to understand, like, man, you winning on a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? Which the thing is that I've been kind of on that too. Is like I try to live my life where there's a game within a game, right? You know, a lot of times we have individuals who are super elite and dope at the game that they play, and in order to avoid boredom or avoid being comfortable, they oftentimes will create a villain, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? To push them beyond their comfort zone, to push them to another level. And so that's the thing. Is sometimes you got to learn how to create a game inside of the game in order to go further and test the limits. So
That's dope. That's dope.
but yeah, that's what's new with me. What about you,
Sensational.
John Butcher?
Man,
Junior.
I'm learning more and more about myself every day. I was a little bit reprobate at our church. We have this process called Growth Track. And mind you, the first iteration of Growth Track at our church, I helped film and like direct and everything. So I'm like, I've already taken Growth Track. Came up with a new iteration of Growth Track. And one of our connections leaders were like, he had texted myself, Donald, and another person that I'm not going to name. He said, we need you guys to do Growth Track. I was like, all right, I did it. I was like, I've
I
taken
don't know
this
if I
test
did
before.
it or not. Guess I didn't do. There's a new one.
Yes.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, you gotta
gotta
retake
do it. I gotta do it.
But no, in all seriousness though, like my disc assessment came out different than it did last time. So I'm not just an S now. It came back as SI. So that was interesting to me. I thought again it'd be like all S, but
But you know why that is though, right?
because of everything that's been going on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Because life events change that dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I definitely, for those of you that out there are like, disc assessment, is he talking about some type of horoscope? No, we don't believe that. It's like once you test it, then you're just this and you're always going to be this, and you play by the signs. But it's definitely a behavioral and psychological tool that helps us better understand how we work and how we work better with other people. How to be on a team.
Right. It doesn't tell you who you are. It tells you what your preferences are.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. One of the things that kind of have been sticking out to me on that particular disc assessment is just the S category of it, talking about the unwillingness to change. Only in the sense of like not necessarily being stubborn, but more so once I get into a rhythm and I have to change that rhythm, I get a little bit like uncomfortable. And I came to kind of realize this, and this is why I bring this up, is I probably should have sold my car 6 months ago. But it took me 6 months to sell the car. Now, here's why I say that. Because I was holding on to it. It's something that was reliable, something that, I didn't have to pay any car notes on or anything like that. And a part of me didn't want to change, that I'm realizing. I was dragging my feet. It was just sitting in my parking lot at my apartments.
Like the Prius.
Yeah, exactly.
Noted.
Collecting dust. But finally, the Lord has put us in a position financially to where we were able to go buy a new car or buy myself a new car. So it's different, bro. Like, I was having this conversation with my mom, and I'm just like, I don't like spending money. And so, like, now I'm in the position financially now to be able to take care of 2 car notes, but I'm not used to it. So both me and my wife are, like, freaking out, thinking, like, well, how are we going to do this? And then we go back and we look at how we're doing, like, with the business right now, because business is doing well. It's like, we got this. So it's like we're going to another level financially, but at the same time, it's like, I'm so uncomfortable. This is new territory. I've never been here before. But it's just definitely been another level of being able to trust God, in this situation. And so, yeah, man, we had a great youth Sunday. Talking about ministry-wise, we had a great youth Sunday that just passed. Had my brother, Pastor Damian Giacchino, come out and give a word.
Fire word.
Yeah. I was excited that he was here. Definitely a guy I look up to in ministry and in life. So it was great, him being able to share the word with our congregation. Other than that, man, 2023 is here in my mind. I know we got 2 more months.
Bro, yeah, don't rush it.
Before we know it, it's going to be January 1st. And we're gonna...
Bruh, no, it's serious, man, because it is. This is the final quarter. We shoot almost halfway through the final quarter of the year. And, 2023 will be, knocking at the door. And so I know for me, I've been trying to be diligent about finishing strong, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not allowing myself, because, typically how it is during the holidays, you get people that are like, oh, it's the holidays, baked goods, cocoa, like all the sweet treats and eggnog and all that kind of stuff.
Pies and all that.
Yeah, and so they like just kind of tend to just, completely just become lazy, right? And they get away from their good habits and things that they formed throughout the year that have gotten them this far.
For sure.
And so for me, I've been just trying to like continue in the spirit of consistency. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that I keep going and keep doing it, because like ultimately it's that whole thing of momentum, that whole principle of momentum. Like once you get momentum, if you stop, it's hard to get it back. You know what I mean? If you stop, it's hard to get it back.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's just been like, okay, now that I look back and I see how much ground I've gained up to this point, what can I do to like kind of sharpen things and tighten things up? Because like one of the things that I've been on lately is, revisiting the vision that I have and understanding that the clearer I make it, the nearer it becomes. So the clearer, the nearer. So like a lot of the reasons why we don't accomplish what we set out to accomplish is because we kind of set vague goals. You know what I'm saying? We just say, just kind of like generalize it. But like learning for me to kind of get more specific with my prayers, getting more specific with what it is that I'm talking about. Even when I'm talking about what it is that I'm going to do, being more specific about, the details, getting into the details of what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. So, and that's coming to the end of the year. So I think that it's imperative for me to be able to do that to level up next year because I don't want to just maintain going into next year. I want to level up, turn up, keep my foot on the gas and be able to just kind of hit the ground running and be able to kind of just ramp things up and scale upward once 2023 comes.
That's dope.
That definitely has been my same thing too, because like I think I've been in business just long enough to obviously you kind of, there is no business without you, especially when you have small business. Like I've been in this area where like, okay, business is booming and trying to figure out, like you're saying, keeping momentum. And I think what I've been doing, and I'm appreciative about being a little bit more self-aware, is not encouraging burnout and not encouraging like, okay, business is coming, like even more than almost that I can handle right now. But at the same time, knowing how to say no and how to give people the right idea and the right consultations and stuff like that. Because sometimes, you got to come to the realization that all money isn't necessarily good money. You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
And that definitely has been like one of my thought processes now. We've talked about this a million times before, just really considering, especially for me when I do consultations, is like, okay, what is this going to cost me? Not necessarily how much am I going to make. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, understanding how much it's going to cost me. I was having this conversation with Wisdom the other day because, we were going back and forth. I was like, how much do you want to make? Because we did a wedding a couple weeks ago. She's like, oh, she kept like lowballing herself. And I'm like, you seen the accountant before where he's kind of like,
Yeah.
That's how I felt with her. And I was trying to explain to her, I'm like, one day I'm hoping that if you want to continue on in this field, that, if you do get an opportunity to do a wedding or even more football games or whatever, sports, whatever, that you find value and you feel comfortable enough to make a price and then add tax. So that way you're not, you don't get in the middle of a job and you're just kind of like, dang, I wish I would have charged more. That tends to happen a whole lot.
That grief, man. There ain't nothing like that grief.
It's not just grief, but it's discouragement too. Because now what you consider to be fun is no longer fun because you're thinking, oh man, I've shortchanged myself. Well, maybe I'm not so valuable. Or maybe my skills aren't as good. When in reality, it's just like, those are some of the adjustments that you kind of have to make rather than letting it discourage you. So, it's going, okay, next time I'm going to consider, hey, I thought about how much it would have cost for me to actually do the filming of the wedding. How long is it going to take me to do the editing of the wedding?
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Now a lot of people look at the total picture. Or sometimes, for instance, it's like sometimes it might just be like communicating the exact thing that your client is getting. Because I know in this kind of field of like taking pictures for like, sports right now, a lot of kids are doing it too, where it's just like, hey, give me $10 and I'll take pictures of you. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean 10 pictures? Does that mean 5 pictures? Does that mean 1 picture for your profile? Does that mean this? Does that mean that?
Yeah.
And like, another thing that's been helping me too is like clearly communicating what I'm going to provide. Like, okay, hey, I'm going to give you this for this amount of money and you can expect this. If I'm underneath that, then we'll have a conversation about it afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And so kind of having those things kind of already kind of built into the packages and what I'm doing has been kind of not only kind of keeping me going with momentum, but also keeping me encouraged. It's almost like putting like trusses underneath the bridge to keep yourself, afloat and not crashing.
Yeah, for sure. Because you don't want to burn out doing. I feel like once whatever it is that you're doing, that you're passionate about, like if you shortchange yourself, like it turns into a job real quick.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the last thing you want to do, to be feeling like you're undervaluing your time. Because if you undervalue your time, there's going to be very few people that value your time more than you do, or that show you that they appreciate your time. More times than not, people will take advantage of it, and it's unfortunate. But to weed those people out, you need to make sure that this is my worth. You feel me? And it's shown in the price. But in regards to sacrificing or knowing what something is gonna cost and keeping momentum, like I keep going back to it, and I hope she sees, and I hope you tell her. I haven't seen her in a minute. That word, bro, that your wife preached 3 weeks ago hit me so y'all know it hit me like a ton of bricks.
Oh yeah.
Man, I think I was praying on that word a couple of days after, and man, God ended up reminding me about when Soul had broke her leg, right? Y'all know she broke her leg when she was 2 on the trampoline, and it was 3 months that she did not walk. We carried her everywhere. You know what I mean? Anytime she had to go somewhere, we were carrying her. And we went to her 2.5-month appointment, and the doctor took the little x-ray. looked at her tibia, and it showed that the bone had mended together. You feel me? No longer was her leg broke. But they're like, but come back in 2 weeks and we'll cut the cast off, right? So 3 months into being off that leg completely and being carried everywhere, we go into the doctor's appointment. The doctor cuts off the cast and says, all right, so you can bear weight on your leg now. You can walk, right? And Soul was like, nah, I'm good. She didn't want to stand on her leg. She didn't want to bend her leg. You feel me? Because she hadn't moved it at all. But the doctor told us and assured us, no, her leg is good. It's strong enough to be stood on. She needs to stand or else it's never going to get as strong as it needs to be, right? And shoot, man, God told me a couple of days after that word that I need to start bearing weight on ErgoDog. And I need to start relying on it financially, because if I didn't, it would never get as strong as it needs to be, or it can never grow to the potential it needs to go to. And shoot, y'all know, I cried like 2-year-old Soul when we made her stand up for the first time, because she didn't know, you know what I mean, if it was strong enough yet.
That's good.
And that's been like it's been a battle in my mind, but I've had to consider like, okay, what is this going to cost me if I don't start to mix, you know what I mean, barbering out and ErgoDog in? Like, what is it going to cost me? What is it going to cost my family? What is it even going to cost the people who I feel like I'm blessing through haircuts right now? But how much greater could I help them, or how much more could I inspire, like with Jericho, who doesn't know that he's reaching kids in Petaluma.
Right,
you feel me? And that kids are literally coming into the chair and being like, hey, Jericho, in the barber chair. Like, it's crazy. I've heard multiple times, or other kids that's injured and like, dang, it's just, you just never know. And I feel like if I hold up and I stay here because I'm comfortable and because barbering has been carrying me and it's been paying my bills for the last 10 years or however so long, that it's like, bro, this business won't get where it needs to go if I don't start to slow down on cuts and pick up there. So that's been the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, no longer the last 3 weeks. And it's been a faith move, but I feel like it's the right move, But just to get back to what you guys were saying, like, count the costs, Counting the costs has been something that's been helping me make that change.
What does the Bible say? What man starts building without counting the costs?
Right.
Yeah.
With you sharing that story about, Soul and tying it to the parallel of you with ErgoDog, it reminded me of something that I heard when I was a youth coming up. One of the youth pastors, I believe it was a youth pastor, that said, you'll never see the potential of a thing unless you put a demand on it. Right?
That's it, yeah.
You'll never see the potential or be able to see what this can become until you put a demand on the potential of it. And that's true, man. That's so good that you brought that up, because that was a perfect parallel. Like, think about how many, and it's not even just, it doesn't surprise me that she's like, that just shows me how our human nature is, because there's even elite level athletes who have had like devastating injuries that they were able to recover from, but they never played the game the same again because they were always in fear of that thing happening again. Right. But talk to their physical therapist, their personal trainer, whoever it was that helped them rehab to get back into playing condition. They'd say, man, you're good to go. You're fine. Just trust that you went through the process necessary in order to get back out there.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, just mentally, that mental block, you know what I'm saying, and that fear.
Yeah.
That spirit of fear, because it's natural for us to experience. Fear is always present.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's funny that, we just came out of spooky season, right? Halloween, right? And it's just incredible to me, because like one of the things is that's been kind of a pet peeve of mine, and to each his own, but a pet peeve of mine is that I got a neighbor that lives down the street, and they pull out all the stops every Halloween to decorate the front of their house into like this elaborate murder scene, this mock murder scene, right? And it always stops traffic, right? And there's nothing pleasant about what's in front of their house at all. but yet people are just so like awestruck that they like stop traffic, you know, and sit there and just look in amazement at it because they're fascinated by it. And it's just incredible to me that, like, if it was real, would you stop and do the same thing? Would you stop and, you know what I'm saying? It's because they know that it's fake, but it's just like there's something in them that likes the idea of fear or something fearful or something scary.
Yeah.
And what it does is it just ends up feeding our susceptibility to the spirit of fear, right? And God has not given us a spirit of fear, right? But we like, just like we like watching scary movies, or, you know, we watch these different films and stuff about horror and stuff like that, and all it does is just feed. Like, I grew up as a kid watching scary movies, and so it constantly just added to and compounded the spirit of fear that was already there to attack me in the first place. And so ultimately it was like, man, we need to starve the spirit of fear and all that, because it's always present. It's always trying to find a way. It's like the raptors in Jurassic Park testing the gate, trying to see, you know what I'm saying, if it can get its way. And so we have to starve the spirit of fear. Like, it's always going to be there, and we just have to know that God didn't give it to us. Yeah. But that's it's almost like God didn't give it to us, but the enemy is willing to give it to us.
Facts. If we'll take it.
Yeah. And so we have to just learn that, we starve him out. Yeah. Straight up, starve him out.
So what does that look like practically? Like starving out the spirit of fear?
So
can I
yeah, go ahead.